Kodak started way back in 1888, making it one of the oldest tech companies in the US. For the whole of the 1900s, they ruled the photography and the video game. I'm 𝗗cie, and this is another interesting episode of Product Play, the series where we dive deep into the biggest product W's and L's with some actionable product lessons as well.
Let's do it.
Kodak made cameras more affordable and easier to use. One of their first ad campaigns said, "You press the button, we do the rest." It means anyone could take photos, not just rich folks or pros. By the 1950s, Kodak had a huge 70% of the profitable US film market. But by the 2000s, it seemed like Kodak had forgotten what made them so successful in the first place. They didn't keep up as the world went digital and soon started losing their grip on the market. By 2012, Kodak were in loads of debt, eventually having to file for bankruptcy, and they haven't been able to bounce back to being number one ever since. If you want to hear how Kodak fumbled their 100-year dominance, keep watching. Hey, and don't fumble that chance to show this channel some love by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. Before Kodak, photography was mostly for rich people. Cameras were bulky and complex, and you had to hire someone just to take a picture. I know it's crazy to think about in 2024. And they were so expensive too, that the average everyday people couldn't afford them. The process of developing photos from negatives was also complex and time-consuming, involving the use of various chemicals, and took a lot of work to get right. But in 1888, Kodak introduced a game changer, the Kodak camera. It was affordable and anyone could use it, not just photography professionals. The camera came loaded with film, so no complicated chemicals needed. All you had to do was point and shoot. After taking photos, you'd send the whole camera to Kodak, they'd develop the film and prints and send them back to you. It just made photography easy. In its prime, the name Kodak was synonymous with photography. Kodak moments became part of everyday language. For generations of Americans, Kodak wasn't just a company, it was photography itself. It had a century-long reign in a world of capturing memories. But as the technology evolved, Kodak's empire began to crumble. Starting in the 1980s, the world began transitioning away from analog to digital photography, leaving traditional film behind. But Kodak, deeply rooted in film, struggled to make the shift. In a world where digital cameras and smartphones were on the verge of taking over, Kodak clung to a technology that had become obsolete for the average user. The truth is, Kodak didn't make a lot of profit from the cameras themselves. They sold accessories like film, printing paper at much higher prices, which gave them higher margins. This meant that when digital photography started to become popular in the 90s, it was a threat to their existing business model. It's ironic that a century after Kodak came into the market to make things easier for the user, this new technology was about to take it even further, doing away with the need to purchase all those extra accessories like film and printing paper, except this time, Kodak were the ones actively pushing against the disruption. 𝗗cie invented the digital camera while still working at Kodak, but Kodak ignored it as they were still enjoying those profitable analog accessories. Meanwhile, Fujifilm in Japan took the idea of going digital and ran away with it. When Kodak didn't sponsor the 1984 Olympics, Fujifilm did, putting their affordable digital cameras in front of millions of American viewers. Kodak so badly wanted to believe that their loyal American customers would prefer the natural look and feel of film. They even spent millions trying to convince people film was better than digital. Can you believe that, product people? By the time they realized Fujifilm had won the camera war, other companies were also eating up their market share. It was too late. Kodak stopped selling film cameras in 2004, laying off over 15,000 employees, and by 2011, their stock had tanked to just 54 cents a share. And in 2012, they ultimately filed for bankruptcy. Kodak's decline teaches some key lessons. Number one, adapt to change. Kodak should have embraced new digital tech instead of fighting it or trying to preach to people about the advantages of old technology. This almost seems like a recurring theme in this series. Number two, diversify revenue. Kodak relied too much on film accessories instead of exploring new income streams, which meant they failed to capitalize on new opportunities in the digital camera market. Number three, value innovation. Kodak didn't capitalize on their digital camera invention, and they paid the ultimate price for that missed opportunity. Number four, compete globally. Kodak dismissed competition from foreign companies like Fujifilm, who ultimately beat them at their own game. And number five, loyalty has limits. All the nostalgia for Kodak moments couldn't save them from their poor decisions in a changing market. After bankruptcy, Kodak went back to basics by focusing on commercial printing and some film. They even tried dipping their toes into the pharmaceutical industry sometime in 2020, but that was cut short due to allegations of insider trading and fraud. Kodak are no longer the tech leaders they once were in the 20th century, but the name still carries a lot of weight, and it's probably why you clicked on this video. Will they ever be able to bounce back to their glory days? Who knows? Anyway, that's it for this episode of Product Play. And if you enjoyed this video, there's an old series you can check out, including my episodes on Nokia and the Amazon Fire Phone. Drop a comment if there's a product story you'd like me to cover. Subscribe and stay tuned for more Product Play stories and tech content on the channel. Until next time.